The people who are along the streets crying as your mother's carriage goes by, as the case on holding her coffin as you're a boy, and them crying, calling out, and offering their sympathy. Well, there wouldn't be those photos if the public didn't go buy those magazines. Do you have a conflicted feeling about how the audience for that kind of salacious work that gets sold aid and abets it?
Yeah. I think so many of us feed into it. A lot of us feed into it without realizing it. We click on photographs without really considering how that photograph was taken and the story behind that photograph, especially with someone's kids. So, yeah, I mean, look, the way that I look at it now, and again, I talk about it in the book, I was obsessed. I was specifically looking for stories about my wife so that I could educate myself on the opinions that were happening and things that were being said so that I could try to fix it, right? But I think, you know, now for me, I've weaned myself off that because I was slightly addicted to it. And now I have a digital diet. And as much as I worry about what I put in my mouth, I worry about what I put through my eyes as well. And my life is so much better for it.
I'm curious. I'm curious, why do you think, and I know this might seem a simple question or there might be a simple answer here, why do you think the world is so fascinated with your family and at this moment in you? Not, aside from this book, because there was already a press fascination, a public fascination, even when you and your wife were being private, all during COVID out in California. Why do people have an appetite?
Well, first of all, are you talking about my family or
your family?
My family, okay.
Well, how about your family and your greater family?
Well, the greater family, I don't know. I grew up within it. I think there's always been a fascination. I think my mum the fascination of her took it to a new level. You know, Diana's boys, let's see how this turns out. And I think there was a real sense of, in some parts, ownership, some parts, parenthood by the British public, feeling as though they had to parent myself and my brother through our teenage years. And then he got married, and it was like, great, there's one. Oh, what's going to happen with the other one? I wonder. And then I'm falling out of clubs, I'm taking drugs, I'm drinking heavily, all of that. Again, it's all there. And that was a part, slow drink. But with regard to my family, you hit on a really important point, which is we were forced to leave. We left in 2020. We moved out, we fled my home country. We moved to California. And for 12 months during lockdown, where we said literally nothing, it was relentless. And that was a real eye-opener for me. I never thought that we'd be away from it completely, but I did think that we would get some form of peace. But that's when I realized that actually our mere existence outside of that institutional control was more of a threat. And, you know, there's a similar thing that happened to my mum as well. And look, they always knew that my wife was going to leave because of the way that they were abusing her. But I think the most embarrassing thing is that I just decided to leave with her.
Do they think the intent was to make her to leave or to break her spirit so she would be easier to control? Because either one would do, right?
Like a little bit like group therapy. You didn't know, did you? You were saying, they go, I got a dinner reservation. What is this?
Exactly. Well, Harry, let's follow that feeling.
Both. I think both. I've never seen the level of abuse and harassment that I witnessed over my wife. Other members of the family, they've experienced different forms of that. But to see it happen the way that it happened, I was naive going into it. I didn't realize that the British press would be so bigoted. And even if I had, I wouldn't have accepted or understood that they could get away with it. But here we are, and we have created a fantastic life here in California, which is, by the way, is beautiful, and America is a great place to live.
The title, Spare. How old were you when that name or that description made sense to you in terms of the hierarchy of the family?
When did it make sense? I think
when did you realize that Spare meant like you're, you know, even comedically perceived as like, well, he's a safety cushion.
Yeah.